So today we're looking at accuracy in meditation, or increasing accuracy in our practice. Accuracy is important in everything. I teach Tai Chi, and there's a big difference between people who do well in Tai Chi and everybody else. And it's not that they have some special skill or they got some special physique. What it is, it's their attitude and the way that they're playing with it. If we're doing Tai Chi and we just do the normal movements, and we learn the movements and we think, oh, that's it, I know Tai Chi, we'll never develop. For Tai Chi, we have to develop from external to internal. And that means not just paying attention to the way the physical body moves, but paying attention to the breathing, paying attention to the way the energy moves as well. And then also paying attention to how everything comes together as one. And we can't do that unless our attention turns in that direction, unless we purposely start looking and investigating in that direction. And often when you do that, it may feel uncomfortable. But if you come across an area in your life, right, or in your meditation practice, or whatever you're doing that feels uncomfortable, that's exactly what you need to do. We like to sit in everything that's comfortable. If I'm good at something, that's what I'll do. Yeah? Whatever you're good at, that's what you'll do. Watch when you start walking, you usually start stepping with the same leg every single time. Yeah? We do everything in habit like that, but you don't develop. The way to develop in anything is to challenge yourself. Go into what is uncomfortable, start investigating that. So our meditation practice is no different, and that's where accuracy comes in. If we're going to look at the meditation practice we just did then, the letting go meditation, where is accuracy located in that? Were we practicing it just then? In the beginning of that practice, I'm actually encouraging you to be more accurate. Have you noticed? There's actually a system that I've put in front of every meditation. You'll find that any meditation practice I teach you, I've got a sequence that I'll say before we even start meditating. So what's the first one after relaxing out with the breath? Anyone?
Bring your attention to the touch. Attention to the touch.
The first one, yeah, before that. The first one is the awareness of the feeling of the heaviness of the body. So first one, we go into a very general awareness, just boom, I'm just here. When we're doing that, using that accuracy of saying I'm just here, what we've done is we've withdrawn our attention from the outside world. We've withdrawn our attention from past and future. We've withdrawn our attention from what we did before we came here and what we believe we're going to do when we leave. Yeah? What we're doing is we're bringing our attention out and we're bringing it in. Remember, with awareness, awareness can be dispersed and aware of many things. But awareness can also be magnified to one point. So this is a start of taking our awareness, all that energy, bringing it here within our body. As soon as you do that, you'll feel the energy levels start to come up a bit. So what I want you to do now is now bring your awareness just in the general feeling of your body sitting on the chair. Now I want you to just allow your awareness just to go anywhere. So you're hearing sounds, jumping around, thinking, whatever. Now bring it back into your body again. See, there's a grounding feel. Even when that sound happens, you don't feel as drawn. You can just feel the energy starting to build up. The energy isn't being wasted on everything else. It's being unified. Our mind's being unified. Mindfulness allows us to do that, to be able to play with awareness. The next one is like what Linda said. The next one is the sense of touch with the chair or the floor. So that feeling of hardness there, there's a sensation there. Notice we've gone from general to very focused, a lot more focused. So place your awareness in the feeling of your body, just generally, sitting on the chair. You're feeling very anchored, your mind goes quiet, doesn't it? Now place your attention where your buttocks touches the chair. Feel that hardness, the heat, the movement, whatever it is. Notice the feeling of holding your attention there. Okay, now I want you to widen your awareness into your whole body. Feel there's a shift. Can you feel there's a difference in feel? Whole body feel? Placing on that one point. So this is the difference in being less and then becoming more and more accurate as we're bringing our attention more and more in. And that's what most meditation techniques are designed to do. They're designed to bring your awareness more and more to one point. Yeah? Less and less dispersed. And so you can actually feel there's an energy feeling difference. There's a feeling in when you're really in that touch, you'll feel the awareness starts to go. It's almost like a feeling, like, oh, we've plugged all the holes in the dam, the energy is starting to build up. You get that sort of feel. Now, when we do that, when we're doing that, you're probably looking and you're going, okay, the whole feeling of the buttocks touching the chair. When I'm doing it, I'm actually being more accurate than that. I'm taking 1 millimetre of that hardness and placing my attention there. So instead of being in the whole, you can actually go to just one point where one bone, the buttocks bone, is just touching, and hold on that one point, one bit of tingling, one bit of hardness. In doing that, you're actually refining it more, and the awareness and the energy levels will actually increase quicker, and your concentration will deepen faster. Can you see how that works? So you're probably trying it now, aren't you? Now, it might be hard to see a millimetre, because this is where the skill starts to come in, and we'll start to talk about how that works a little bit later, right? So you might be able to look at an area about that big, but start off with that. You'll know when it's too small because you'll become mentally restless and start to slide off it. You won't be able to sustain it, because the energy levels will get really high. If you haven't got that balance in there, that calm and stillness behind it, you'll wander off thinking. So play with that. See? Out, coming in more. Now what's the next one I say after that? It almost feels like I'm asking you to be wider again. Nobody can remember?
Scanning.
No, before that. I then get you to be aware of all the sensations in your body. Now this sounds like you're going, hey Steve, why are we suddenly becoming wide again? There's 2 reasons. The first one is generally we've got to balance out that energy. But you notice the first time when we looked at the body, it was just the general feeling of the body. Then we went to the touch of the buttocks, that hardness, the tingling, the heat. Then suddenly when we come back to the body, we're not looking at the outside shape of the body, suddenly it's just the sensations within. When you go to that next one, the perception of the borders of your body will disappear. You'll just feel sensations. And that's why I say include sounds in those sensations. So we're removing, if you're doing it as it develops, you'll remove that feeling of being separate. But we're working up to that. Also, when you're looking at that, you can look at all the sensations, but you could look at individual sensations. A bit of coolness, a bit of warmth, movement, tingling, it doesn't matter. All these things through these steps are all things that are actually in the present moment. What they're designed to anchor your attention and take your attention away from the past and the future. Can you see? Take you out of your head, the chatting in your head, blah, 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 and taking you into the present. Our body, right, it's called Kaya Nupassana. Our body, or the experience of our body, is the most tangible grounding thing that we have. and it is always present. You cannot experience the sensations in your body in the past. You cannot experience them in the future. You can only experience them now. And this practice that we're doing at the beginning of there, that's what I'd like you to do in your everyday life. Be grounded in your body. The thinking will settle down, your mind will become more quiet, you'll get less emotional ups and downs, right? And you'll find that you'll be clearer in making decisions in anything you have to make a decision in. If you're not grounded, you'll get lost in your head and make bad decisions, because the decisions and reactions will be through habit. So grounding in your body will break that habit, will break that mental habit, make it hard for you to get dragged off. Because when you're grounded in your body, having that accuracy, right, you're increasing your awareness and habit won't kick in. This is the trick. This is what we're doing. So mindfulness is always knowing, this is what I'm experiencing now. I'm experiencing this, then the sensations. Now when we actually go into the letting go practice itself, it seems quite simple, doesn't it? Be aware of the tension in your body, relax it. But how do we become more accurate with that? Let's see. This is the way you develop it. If I just breathe in and breathe out and just relax the whole body, I'm not being accurate. And I'd say this would be how most people would do it. Yeah? Instead, I want you to be actively aware, mindful of where the tension is. So what you do is be aware of some tension, breathe in. When you breathe out, relax that specific bit of tension. Wherever the tension is in your body, doesn't matter where it is, where it's most obvious to you. Then when that relaxes, you will notice that it will disappear and the tension will appear somewhere else in your body. So start trying it now. You do one bit and out. Now notice the most dominant tension is suddenly somewhere else, isn't it? So go to that. Doesn't matter where it is. Breathing in, breathing out, relax that. Then suddenly somewhere else. So it keeps going, dum, 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 dum. Now we're playing a different game. Can you see? So what you're doing is you're actually putting effort into being aware of or being mindful of where that tension is, where it's moving. Watch one disappear, next one come up. One disappear, next one come up. And then we do the same thing mentally. Don't be fooled into thinking that mental tension is in your head. The tension in the mind can be anywhere. Mental tension in the head is still physical. But you can see we become more and more accurate. You need to be aware. Where is this? Soften it. Where is this? Soften it. If you do that with that accuracy, it will deepen. But if you just go generally, you'll get nice and relaxed, but it won't go to the deepest levels. Can you see how that starts to work? So see, it's a different attitude in how we're doing it, isn't it? And this is in any meditation practice, including mindfulness of breathing. You can see how it works. Start from gross, working your way more and more subtle. If the energy gets out of balance, come out again, and then work your way back in again like that. Don't try to wrestle with it, because you won't win. Your mind's stronger than what you are. Definitely. It's like trying to hold an elephant with a bit of cotton. If your mindfulness isn't strong enough, the cotton will just break and you'll be off. The elephant will be off. Now, when I originally wrote this talk, I was using archery as an example, because I assumed, because of my childhood, I assumed other people had used a bow and arrow before, but I find very few people have. As children, we found this great longbow on a junk pile, and we got the longbow, and we used to love, big group, about 20 of us. There was a big group of kids, guys and girls, and lots of dogs, probably about half amount of dogs again, about 10 dogs. And we'd stand in a group and we'd get the longbow and we'd shoot the arrow straight up into the air, and we couldn't see it.
And then you'd run. And
we'd wait for it to come down, and then we'd all run laughing. We never got hit, but geez, it was scary sometimes. So I assumed everyone did that. Nobody else did that?
All the others that didn't survive to me.
Anyway, so now I'm using darts. Most people have played darts, at least a game of pub darts or darts. When I was a child, I first learned darts. Used to get the dart. I can remember standing behind the line, just very young, and would throw the dart. But generally what would happen is the dart would actually spin, not fly through the air, spin, bounce off the wall, bounce off the roof, and then land in the table or the floor near us. And we'd all just be laughing our heads off again. See, very, very similar, isn't it, childhood? It didn't matter how hard I tried, the dart would just go all over the place. I would try, but it would go, it just wouldn't hit the dartboard. So if I chucked a temper tantrum then and said, I can't play darts, I'm not the type of person who can play darts, throw the darts down, oh, mummy, and then walked away, would I ever learn to play darts? No. So what we did, we'd miss, we'd pick it up and throw it again. We'd want to hit the bullseye, but we'd never hit it. But what happened was with practice, the more I practiced, eventually the dart would start going into the dartboard. Not necessarily where I was aiming, but it would actually stick. The dart would stick. Yeah? Then with practice, started to be able to hit the different areas. And then would start fluking a bullseye or start fluking one of those triple scores. Somebody who practices darts all the time can bunch the darts in the bullseye or any point of the board anytime they want. And that's the accuracy in meditation. When we first start meditating, we can't even hit the board. I ask you to watch the breath and you're off thinking. I ask you to not listen to sounds and you're off listening to sounds. I ask you to stay still for the time of the meditation and you're moving all over the place. But this is normal. This is the same for everyone. This is like throwing that dart and it doesn't even hit the board. Just laugh at it. Like we did when we were kids, we laughed. As an adult, laugh at it. Wow, the mind's funny. This is what it does. Come back. The more you practice, you'll start to get some accuracy. Suddenly, whatever your meditation object is, you'll start to notice it a bit more, right? With practice, you'll start to notice it closer and more clearly. Eventually, you'll be able to hit it. So watching the in-breath, you'll be able to see the in-breath and the out-breath. But if you want to improve your accuracy, what you then want to do is see the beginning of the in-breath, middle, and the end of the in-breath. Then the beginning of the out-breath, middle, and end. So try to be present for the whole of it, not just, boom, this is it. So this is where accuracy is. You actually have to make an effort and know when, okay, I'm ready to go to this next step. I'm going to look in a bit more detail. Then what you want to do is you want to try to see the gap. The beginning of the in-breath, middle, end, gap. Beginning of the out-breath, middle, end, gap. And sit within that gap. That takes accuracy. At the highest level of mindfulness practice, people can sit in that gap as they want, but they sit so finely on the end of every experience, like the end of that breath, end of a sound, end of everything, that it has the same feeling as when you're walking downstairs and you miss a stair and you free fall. You know that free fall? So what you do is your accuracy gets so fine that you can actually be right at the end of that breath and then literally skim off the end of it and free fall, watch it disappear. And everything just disappears like bang. You free fall off it. Right? This is real accuracy, just skimming just right at that end there. And that's what we're working towards, but you can't make that happen. If you haven't practiced your accuracy from gross to subtle, it's not going to happen. You can want it to. I can want to hit the bullseye on the dartboard, but I can't. I can want to have all three darts do it, but I can't. So you need to be patient. How do you be patient? You know what your level of skill is, you work with that. If you start to putting that effort in, makes it so that your accuracy becomes worse, means you become restless or you become sleepy, then what you need to do is go back to the level that you're used to. Keep practicing that. Aiming, aiming, aiming. Now, aim in meditation comes from remembering to aim. That's what mindfulness does. Remembering, this is what I'm looking at now, or this is what I'm experiencing now, and remembering to keep reapplying that. Because if you don't keep reapplying it, Awareness will lose momentum, boom, you're off. This is what's happening. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Now this same accuracy, I'll just wind up quickly, affects your whole life. You practice it in your meditation practice, your accuracy is the same in everyday life. If you're in a relationship with someone, the accuracy is when they're speaking, listen to them without your commenting. Listen 100%. Let them know you're listening to them. Silent mind listening. Yeah? Not waiting for your chance to say something. Oh, they never stop, and so I never get a chance to say what I want to say. No, listening to them. If you're giving them a hug, mentally apply yourself to that. Not just doing it, mentally be there. Like you can say, I love you, or you can say, I love you, I really do. And mentally aim, and the aim will actually carry the emotion with it. It carries it with it. Do that in everything. Do that in your work. Do that drinking a cup of tea, walking down the beach, sitting in a room, waiting in a doctor's surgery. Doesn't matter what it is, with a friend, with anything. Doesn't matter what you're doing, apply that accuracy, and whatever it is will become beautiful. Whatever it is will become perfect. Whatever it is will contain joy. The same as whatever we're passionate about is joyful for us to do. Why? Because we're being accurate with our attention to it. When we enjoy doing something, that's the only place our attention sits. When we're doing things that we're not getting joy from, our attention is everywhere other than that. It's no wonder we don't get joy from it. But you can apply your attention to anything if you do it softly, skillfully, accurately. Doesn't matter what it is. It can be just fixing a hole in a blanket will be the most wonderful thing you've ever done. And that's the trick to getting joy out of life, is that accuracy. So this practice of accuracy here is meant to be taken out into everything you do. That's what just being here is about. Just this. Just this is about that accuracy. Boom, I'm just doing this.